Alrighty, hello and welcome again to another Source SDK 101 video tutorial. Although today is a little bit less of a tutorial. In fact, we're going to be taking a look at some TTT maps here, namely 67th Way, and later on we're going to be taking a look at rooftops. And this is going to go in conjunction with another video that I've either already put up or I'm about to put up that talks about what makes a TTT map good, fun to play. How do these maps become classic in a sense? So looking at 67th Way, obviously this is a super classic map. Literally everybody knows 67th Way. If you've ever played TTT before, a lot of the time it's on the rotation. Like, it is the first map that a server will reset to if it crashes or something. Big hit. So just to dive right into that, we're going to be looking at specifically that, as you can see here, this whole area is very wide open. This main central area, which is generally where most of it happens, most of the action, that is. And we're going to be looking here that you can see that there is a ton of room for players to move around. This is a super, wide open area for the most part. But combined with that are these tighter spaces. And in my other video, I talk about how you need to combine wide open areas, which are perfect for sniping, especially around here. You could come up into this house and you can pick players off all the way in the house, coming out of the underground. Super iconic stuff. But the reason that it makes it for such good gameplay is how it's combined with these other areas. And, you have the gun store, which gets real tight in there and stuff like that. And when you have these players, that allows you to use all the type of guns. It makes every gun have a use, instead of just, only snipers, like, some map like D Dolls or something. I absolutely hate that map. Just a side note. But either way, all the guns have a purpose here, because, you're going to be running around with a shotgun, maybe right outside the houses. You can pick one up right here. Or inside the houses especially, because it's just so much tighter. And in contrast with that, you have this outside area, and it just makes for like a really sweet balance of gameplay. And to go alongside with that, the fact that the entire map is split into three sections. You have this outside area, you've got the underground, which is down here, and after that you have the farm area, which is over here. And of course the farm area is probably the least used bit of the map, but either way, the fact that this entire map is split into these three segments, it makes the gameplay so much better, because not only does it give iconic callouts for players that are, if you're getting shot down or something, you want people to know where to go. It's not just a bland blob of a map, and you struggle telling people where you are. If you say, you're getting shot at the farm, everybody knows exactly where that is and they know how to get there. And part of that obviously comes from playing the map a lot, but at the same time, just these areas having these like three distinct different areas makes the game so much better. Look at a lot of maps that have like an inside and an outside area. Look at Alcatraz. I don't remember the last time I played that, but just off the top of my head, you have inside the prison, you have the whole water area, and then you have that one landing side with the helicopter and all that. Just having distinct zones makes for such better gameplay, because it allows for players to like easily call it out, and it just makes everything a lot simpler. You don't want to have way too many areas. You don't want an incredibly massive map. I know certainly Alcatraz suffered from that a bit, and that's probably why it wasn't super popular, but that was just right off the top of my head. But this map definitely is about a medium in size for the most part, and that helps it so much because it's not cramped. It's not too cramped. It's not confusing or anything. But a lot of the cramped maps, nobody wants to play on a cramped map, because that gives almost no room for sniping or anything like that. And everybody can you kill somebody, you can hear it immediately. Everybody knows where to run to. But here, if you're in these areas are so separated from each other that if you kill somebody in one of the areas, the people in the other areas have absolutely no idea, and that's perfect. But keep in mind that there are only three. And with that, thinking about that leaves, gives you that space so that you can feel like you're alone and that you're safe making the kill. But at the same time, you're not like completely isolated 10,000 miles away and nobody will ever hear anything, or there aren't like 50 other areas. All right, so either way, we're gonna take a trek down into the basement here, and we're gonna talk about why this basement is basically where all the action happens, and it's one of the most iconic parts of the entire map. Um, Essentially, a lot of maps, although personally I extremely dislike maps with trader testers for the most part, or traps or anything. But in certain circumstances, I am really a fan of that. And the way that this map sets it up, I totally love it. I absolutely love the way that 67th Way was designed with the trader tester, in that it's in a very centralized area. It's only a ladder climb away from the main central bit of the map, but it is slightly isolated. Um, but it's great. The fact that it's a one-way environment is just totally beneficial to the traders and everything. It's just, it's a super sweet layout design that he had, and a lot of TTT maps suffer from not having any sense of layout whatsoever. And a lot of people think that this isn't some competitive thing. This isn't CS:GO. I don't need to make a layout. I can just make rooms and it'll work fine. No, that's not true at all. And when you put effort and thought into what you're actually doing, you can come up with something as great as this. Because the fact that you have all these players and they come in from multiple directions, you have this, you have the ladder here, you have a teleport room over here, and the stairs up there, and then you have another ladder over here. You got like 4 possible entrances, 3 into this hallway, and another teleporter right here, that lead everybody into this one. They funnel everybody into this room, which is always the best when somebody's in that trader room. And somebody walks in, you try to play them out, and then you see your friend get trapped or you get trapped or something. It just makes for really memorable moments. But you funnel everybody into this trader tester room, and it just having that separation from this room and everywhere else in the map makes everything so much more tense, because people funnel in here and they can't get out because somebody's guarding the doors or anything like that. And it just makes it so much more fun when you actually put some decent amount of thought into it. Now, if you just have a trader tester in the middle of the map, something like that, it's not good. It doesn't work half the time. And for that reason, I hate majority of trader testers. And I definitely think it's always a gamble putting one in the map. But obviously, 67th Way found the perfect balance here. And talking about the trader room here, this trap is the only trap in the map, aside from like locking a door or something. That doesn't really count, in my opinion. But in the same way, having this trap centralized to only the trader tester just adds that much more intensity to and risk of using it. It's not just like, oh, everybody's got to come down and get tested. If you do that, there's a certain risk, and everybody knows that, and that makes it so much more enjoyable. Talking about the teleporters here, I'm not a super big fan of the teleport system, but it definitely works. I know some other maps that have used this. I know Borders has it, and that map is just that's just a complete clustered mess of everything. But here, I like the little pictures and everything. That's nice. You can't see them here because I decompiled this. But either way, the teleports work here, and they work pretty effectively. And generally, it's good. But a lot of the time, you see things that teleporters that just don't work. The way they're meant to, they teleport you too far away. It's confusing where you're actually getting teleported to, or it's a little too OP. In this case, sometimes it's a little bit overpowered, especially since you can teleport from here all the way over to the farm. But, I guess it makes sense if they want to throw them in, and it works. It's subtle enough that it's fine. But definitely that's something you always have to be careful of. But generally, I think to make a TTT map iconic, you probably need to throw in a trap or a tester or something, because that makes it stand out, aside from the other, complete, wasteland of maps that are out there, the whole slew, plethora, whatever you want to call it. But definitely, if you're on the fence about throwing in a trader tester or some trader traps or a trader room, whatever, what have you, I would say don't unless you test it and you feel that you really, really need it, or the map would be missing something if it wasn't there. Because you always can play it safe with your map and you don't have to include it. And when you don't include it, it's usually fine. There are tons of maps that don't have anything. Talk about rooftops, for example. But definitely, 67th Way is one of the best maps to come out. And taking a look at it, it is not exactly graphically pleasing, mind you. It's pretty basic, pretty Half-Life 2 stock textures, CSS stock textures, whatever. You don't have to have the most dazzling map out there to be a great. It just has to have good gameplay, and gameplay in this game mode will always come first before blinding shiny textures or whatever. And just as a final note, talking about gimmicks and stuff in map, that is really you need to find something in most cases for something just to stand out. And 67th Way has that with the cars. Everybody loves the cars. I remember years ago, trying to jump over them and do. I don't know if that works with the physics anymore. I can't remember. It's been a while. But we used to jump over the cars. You get flung in the air. Throwing, getting the cars stuck on guns or throwing watermelons, whatever. It's just a good time. Something simple. Doesn't add a super amount to the game, but it kills AFKs and it kills people that are just blindly running across the road, and it just makes for really great, fun memories and moments. So please, try to find something. You don't need a gimmick in your map to make it good, but it will not hurt it and almost will always make it 1,000 times better just having something interesting and different like that. Don't go out and copy it and put it in a highway yourself unless you feel like you really need to for whatever reason. But 67th Way, really good map. Doesn't look great, but functions great, and that's what makes it a classic. See you next time.